A normal morning turns strange. It started like any other day for Chu Neo. She woke up to the sound of her alarm blaring at 7 a.m., groggily reaching out to silence it. Her apartment was quiet, except for the distant hum of traffic outside. She got ready for work, brewed a cup of coffee, and headed out into the crisp autumn air. But as she walked to the subway station, something felt off. The streets were eerily empty, and the few people she passed seemed frozen in time, standing unnaturally still, their eyes glazed over. When she finally boarded the train, no one spoke. The silence was suffocating. At exactly 8:47 a.m., chaos erupted. A deafening screech filled the air, followed by screams. Through the windows of the subway car, Chu saw shadows moving, twisted, monstrous shapes that shouldn't exist. Passengers began panicking, clawing at the doors as the train ground to a halt in darkness, and then everything went black. When Chu opened her eyes again, she was back in bed, staring at her ceiling fan. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. 7 a.m. Confused but dismissive, she chalked it up to a vivid nightmare. But when she stepped outside later that morning, the same eerie emptiness greeted her. By 8:47 a.m., the subway descended into chaos once more. This wasn't just déjà vu. It was a loop. By the third repetition of the day, Chu understood the truth. She was trapped in a time loop. Each cycle ended with the same horrifying crescendo, the shadowy creatures overtaking the subway, the passengers' screams, and her own death, or whatever came after. No matter what she did, running away, hiding, fighting back, the outcome remained unchanged. She began experimenting, trying anything to alter the course of events. On one loop, she skipped breakfast entirely and stayed home. On another, she confronted the strange figures lurking in the streets. Nothing worked. Every attempt led her inexorably back to the subway at 8:47 a.m. During one iteration, Chu noticed something new. A man sitting across from her on the subway, who hadn't been there before. He wore an old trench coat and stared intently at a pocket watch, muttering under his breath. Before she could ask him anything, the chaos began anew, and he vanished along with everyone else. Determined to find answers, Chu sought him out during subsequent loops. Eventually, she cornered him in a cafe near the station. His name was Elias, and he claimed to have been stuck in the loop far longer than she had. "They're testing us," he whispered, clutching the pocket watch tightly. "These days aren't random. They're trials. If we fail, we die. If we succeed..." He trailed off, shaking his head. "I don't know what happens if we succeed." Chu pressed him for details, but Elias refused to say more. Instead, he handed her the pocket watch and disappeared into the crowd. Armed with the pocket watch, Chu discovered its purpose. It slowed down time within the loop, giving her precious seconds to react. Using this newfound advantage, she devised a plan to confront the shadowy creatures directly rather than fleeing them. On the next loop, instead of boarding the subway, Chu ventured deep into the tunnels beneath the city. There, she found the source of the anomaly, a massive pulsating rift in reality. Surrounded by writhing tendrils of darkness, the creatures emerged from this tear, feeding on fear and despair. Summoning every ounce of courage, Chu approached the rift. As the shadows converged on her, she activated the pocket watch, freezing time just long enough to hurl herself into the heart of the rift. The world dissolved around her, replaced by an infinite void. A voice echoed through the emptiness, cold and mechanical. "You have proven yourself worthy. Would you like to leave?" Chu hesitated. Did she want to return to her mundane life, knowing the horrors that existed beyond the veil? Or would she choose to stay, embracing the endless struggle? Before she could decide, the voice laughed, a sound both cruel and amused. "Too late, you've already chosen." When Chu opened her eyes again, She was standing in her apartment, the clock reading 7:01 a.m. For a brief moment, relief washed over her. Then she realized something was different. Outside her window, the sky was blood red, and the streets below teemed with those same shadowy figures. The loop hadn't ended, it had evolved.